Hi there, welcome to my channel. I'm Kathy, and today I wanted us to do whole foods made simple, and salsa is the topic of the day. This is a great salsa, and you can make it so quick at home that you wouldn't want to buy it out anymore. This is considered a fresh salsa, so no cooking involved. You will need some type of food chopper. This is a small food chopper that has the mechanism that sits on top, or you can use a food processor. You could probably even use a blender. I would do this in my Vitamix. I think the tomatoes would have enough liquid to be able to do it in your Vitamix, but I would think a food chopper or a food processor is going to give you more flexibility to control the texture. So what I have here is I have 4 pretty large vine ripened organic tomatoes, half, a little bit more than a half of a large sweet onion. That's my favorite. I think that it gives it a great overall flavor. And but you are welcome to use a yellow onion, a red onion. Try them all. They'll all taste great, but you can change up the flavor with the different onions. I am a little bit weak on the heat, so I will use half of a whole fresh jalapeno, and I will take out the seeds and the veins because that's where the heat is. So if you like heat, by all means keep it in. Just have a handful of fresh cilantro here, washed and ready to use. Chop it. You can drop it in stems and all, so easy prep. For the tomatoes, we're going to remove the core, but we're going to leave the skins on. I've done this for a while, and at first I was blanching the tomatoes to remove the skins, and then I thought, I haven't even tried this without removing the skins, so I could maybe remove this whole step from the process, so let me try it. And I did. I tried it, and without removing the skins, and it is great. So one more step removed. This is probably similar to what you would get out at your favorite Mexican restaurant with chips. I love this, of course, with chips. Any of my quesadillas, tortillas, anything that I make in that category of Mexican food. But you can, and oddly enough, maybe this is not so unfamiliar to everyone, but I love it on salmon patties, salmon fillet, pretty much anything. There's really nothing that I wouldn't eat this on. So in this case, the tomatoes are really nice. They don't have much of a core, so I'm not going to core these. I just took the top off, and we're just going to quarter them. And you probably don't even have to do this depending on your food processor or your chopper. It's just a habit of mine to kind of put everything in at the same size, and so that it all whirls up at the same and gets me the texture that I'm looking for. So, but if your tomatoes have a tough center white core, then I would recommend just taking that out. It probably will process up just fine in your food processor, and I can't imagine it would do anything to the taste. But sometimes I get the tomatoes and they have a really tough, hard white core, and it's a couple more slices with the knife. Take those out. And all of these so far have looked really nice. I haven't had to take any of the cores out. And I think, oh, there we lost one. Quarter in the floor. I think that, again, this is it's kind of a no recipe. I'm using 4 medium to large size tomatoes. This one does have a little bit of a rough core, so all I'm doing is just kind of a V. I'll bring this over so you can see it just a little bit. Yep, a V there with your knife to take out that core. And that's going to go in my compost bin. I think you can see it over here. I have the Simple Human compost bin. It's really easy to clean, and I am finding that I am doing great with my compost, veggie scraps, etc., by having it here on the counter. And you can take it from this to the garbage if that's what you want to do. In my case, I do have a compost bin in the backyard that we are using to compost whatever goes in there. The one thing I do have in it right now is one of the bags. Simple Human offers a compost bag that I think it's supposed to make it easier. They sent, in my case, when I bought it, it came with a sampling of 30 of their compost bags. And my husband and I, we have pretty much decided it's not worth it. I know that they have to be fragile probably to break down in consumer compost versus commercial compost. I don't really know the difference. It's on the bag. It's on the box where the bags are. It says that it is approved for home composting, so that's why I say that. But that makes the bag so fragile that if you have it in there with any compost or veggie scraps, fruit scraps for more than a day, trying to take it out is impossible. It just breaks down and falls apart. So the parts of the compost bin are so easy to clean that I'm not going to be purchasing any more of the bags for the compost. And what you'll see here is, again, in my case, I I don't want a big chunk of jalapeno, so I give the chopper a little bit of support and help. I don't know why I do that, because with this particular chopper, it's going to get everything as fine as I want it. So again, you can just half the jalapeno, take the seeds out if you choose, the vein out if you choose, drop it in there, and we're going to give this a whirl. We have in here again cilantro, onion, about a half of a large sweet onion in my case, and I am putting on top of the 4 quartered tomatoes and the jalapeno. I've added a big tablespoon of salt and now just a few grinds of pepper, and that is just, again, to taste. If you don't like black pepper, you are absolutely okay to leave it out. This is one of those to taste whole food made easy recipes, and I make this pretty often and keep it around. I know that tomatoes, we're told, don't put them in the refrigerator because they don't taste good after they're cold. In this case, though, with this salsa, I can say that it's great when you make it at room temperature, because I do keep my tomatoes on the counter. But it's great after you've refrigerated as well. So make a big bunch, put it in a mason jar to store it, and keep it there in the front of your refrigerator so you can see it, grab it out, and eat it on everything. And I think you're going to love it. And there we go. We got it on. Okay, and with this particular chopper, motor's on top. I have a low and a high button. That's all there is to it. And the blades on the inside, there's several that are throughout the ingredients. So it's amazing how quick it is, and it's so quiet. So I think I've pulsed 5-6 times, and we're almost there. You can see down through the lid. It's so easy. So I think we are done. Got a few chunky pieces here that were left on top. Let me just put this back on and give it another whirl just to grab those last big pieces of tomato and onion. Okay, here we go. Fresh salsa. And I did not add oil, so we're going to leave this one fat-free. You really don't need it. It's just a matter of taste, texture. I don't really think it does anything for the store ability. And in this case, I didn't put lemon juice. Actually, I'm going to grab half of a lemon because the citric acid will help preserve it or make it last a little longer. And plus, I think in salsa, we're used to having a little of citrus, probably lime most likely, but I will use lemon if that's all I have. Half of a lemon. Squeeze that in there. Use your other hand to grab the seeds. Right into the compost bin. I'll take this out so you can see it. This was the, this is the mechanism with 4 blades that makes really quick work. And I can stir this in to incorporate the lemon. I have a corn tortilla here. We will give it a taste. You always want to taste it before you decide you're done, because you might want to adjust the salt. So good. Really the most time consuming part is cleaning the vegetables, the cilantro, rinsing it off, a few quick chops, and you've got salsa. So much better than anything you can get in a jar. Just the right balance of onion and tomato. I'm probably going to add a little bit more salt to this. I know me. I like a little more salt, but you can, of course, do as much or as little salt as you like. I think tomatoes is one of those things that you got to have a little. Okay, and I want to share one of our devotionals from Sarah Young, Jesus Calling. And today it says, "Worship me only. I am King of Kings and Lord of Lords, dwelling in unapproachable light. I am taking care of you. I am not only committed to caring for you, but I am also absolutely capable of doing so. Rest in me, my weary one, for this is a form of worship. Though self-flagellation has gone out of style, many of my children drive themselves like racehorses. They whip themselves into action, ignoring how exhausted they are. They forget that I am sovereign and that my ways are higher than theirs. Underneath their driven service, they may secretly resent me as a harsh taskmaker. Their worship of me is lukewarm, but I am no longer their first love. My invitation never changes. Come to me, all you who are weary, and I will give you rest. Worship me by resting peacefully in my presence." All of these are so good. The reference verses, or chapters and verses, 1 Timothy 6:15-16, Isaiah 55, 8-9, Revelation 2, verse 4, Matthew 11, verse 28. I hope this has blessed you. If so, I hope you'll share it, like, subscribe, come back and see me. And Jesus is Calling. I hope this blessed you as well. Have a great day. Thanks.